Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a sort of post-release tier list for Honkai Style, and I'll be going over all the current 5 stars that are in the game. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So for today, we're going to be on mobilemeta.dg. I have been using this website recently for all my Style knowledge, and it's been pretty good if I'm being honest with you guys. For example, if I want to know more about Himeko, I can go to Himeko. We can look at her stuff right here, like her skills. And this site is actually pretty good because it also has a tier list maker. So what you could do is actually look at the characters, get a little refresh of what the characters can do, and then you can go to your tier list maker and make your tier list. You can also do team comps, which I think is really cool. You just have to drag them down. You can pick the relic, all that good stuff, and you can know the stats, which I think is pretty cool. But now let's just get into the tier list itself. So we go to builder here, and here's the tier list. So I'm going to begin by mentioning a few things. For the OP tier, let's just think of this as like an S plus tier. So essentially this tier is the characters that I think are by far the best in multiple game modes in the game. S tier is the normal S tier, just really good. They may be lacking one or two things, but they're highly good. A tier, phenomenal, but they are lacking maybe something the S tier has, or they may just be lacking certain things. They may be lacking something in the kit, or I just personally feel like the S or the OP tier are a little bit better. B tier is, once again, is just a little bit less better than A tier. Of course, though, with all of these tiers, I don't personally think anyone is C tier. I do think all these other tiers will likely be used, though. And of course, if any of the characters are on B or an A and they're not an S or OP, then it doesn't mean they're bad. I just want to get that quick disclaimer, and I'm going to be going based on every single mode in the game, which is Simulated Universe, Forgotten Hall, and so on. So let's begin with Bailu here. Bailu, in my opinion, is definitely in the S plus tier. The reason why Bailu is an S plus tier is because of her kit and what she provides for every team comp. I personally think Bailu is a character that can go on practically any team, and as a supportive character, she is probably one of the best. She is able to overheal your characters with her Invigoration, which I actually got to pull Bailu in my game, and Invigoration is awesome. Bailu's able to overheal, which means that your HP will go over the amount of HP you actually have. So think of it like kind of like a shield in a way, but not really a shield. You just have more health than you originally did, but this allows you to take more hits as a result. So in a way, it's like a little mini health shield that Bailu's able to provide for you. And I think that's really good because you can just get it from Bailu's skill, her ultimate, whatever it may be. Bailu's really good for that purpose. And also in her base kit, she's able to revive an ally once per battle. I think this is incredibly good because if she's able to do this, let's say your high DPS character, or rather your main damage dealer, let's just say it is Seele, for example. If she goes down on my team comp, I would not like that, but if she goes down, Bailu will be able to res her, which I think is incredible. So Bailu is absolutely up there for what she provides in every game mode, because I think she's great for the story, the end game like modes, grinding, and so on. Next up, we will be doing Bronya. I put Bronya in the same tier for similar reasons, of course not healing though. Bronya is able to advance the turn of an ally, which is incredibly useful, especially for characters that could take advantage of this with their damage output, or if you're really in need of a heal. Let's say you do have Bronya and a healer or a shielder on the team, and you're really in need of those heals or the shields, or you just want to do extra damage. Bronya advancing the turn of an ally is incredible for this and can result in you either winning a battle faster or be able to save yourself in a very critical moment where you may lose otherwise. Bronya is also an amazing buffer. She can increase your crit rate, your crit damage, your attack, your damage, and just overall she increases a lot of your offensive potential, and her own supportive potential is really good. And of course, Bronya being the wind element is also very beneficial because we do not have many wind element characters. So she's able to attack enemies that are weak to wind, get off that wind shear, which is damage over time as a result. She's just really good if she's able to break those weakness meters as well, which I've personally been using her for that as well, since I think she does do that pretty nicely. Now, let's go over Clara. Clara, I personally think would be in the high A tier. I do have a previous tier list, which was basically beta, and I did put Clara in like B+. Clara is incredibly good for what she does. Clara is able to do damage reduction, she's able to counterattack, and she's also able to do taunting. The reason why this is so good is because Clara, I always say it in my videos, Clara is like a wall that hurts you back really hard. Clara is amazing for this purpose, and Clara is able to taunt enemies, and as a result of taunting enemies, they will be more likely to attack her. When they attack her, or I believe once she uses her ultimate, then she will be able to counterattack if any ally gets attacked, if I'm not mistaken. But just off her base kit before the ultimate, she's able to do the counterattacks. The reason why this is good is because Clara does a lot of damage to enemies with her counterattacks, and then she's also able to inflict her Savrock mark on enemies, which means that she'll be able to do more damage to them with her skill as well. So in the grand scheme of things, Clara is amazing for damage output, sustainability on your team, since she'll be taking those hits, especially if you pair her with March 7th, who's able to increase taunting on Clara, as well as basically just giving Clara a shield, so Clara's taking less damage essentially to her health as well. So overall, Clara, really good character. I know a few people have been not too sure if she's good. I personally think she's actually really good. I would recommend her in a lot of game modes, especially the end game like modes, where sustainability and being able to survive longer definitely matters quite a lot. Now let's go over Gepard. Gepard I personally think is also an A. I don't necessarily think he is low enough to be an B or high enough to be an S. Gepard is really good for the purpose of essentially shielding your allies, and he's also able to self-revive himself when he's KO'd. So if he loses his health to the point where he's about to faint or go down, Gepard is able to actually res himself with a certain percentage of his health, if I'm not mistaken, and this allows him to now have the opportunity to shield, to do extra damage, whatever it may be. Gepard's skill is able to possibly freeze, and his ultimate also gives everyone a shield, as well as his technique before battle is also able to give shields. So Gepard is an incredible shielder, especially for endgame like modes. I feel like Gepard will really excel. So in early game, he's kind of whatever. You don't really need him too much in early game, but end game, trust me, like mid to end game, you will definitely want this character. This character is really good. Of course, though, you can use a character like Bailu and so on. But the reason why I have Gepard lower than Bailu is due to the fact that Bailu has the revive for your allies instead of herself. The reason why this is really good is because I did mention that example. If your damage dealer goes down and now you don't have a really strong damage dealer, it's really tough to possibly win a fight. So Bailu being able to revive that damage dealer and also be able to consistently heal whenever practically you want, because Bailu's skill alone heals, is really good, but Gepard needs his technique or his ultimate to give those shields. So that's why I have one in a really high tier and one in a little bit lower. That's my personal reason for that. Now we have Himeko. Personally, I think Himeko is also pretty good. I would also put her here along with them. Himeko definitely got better from the CBT3 to release, because now she's able to burn with all of her attacks, which I think is really good. It is a trace that you get later on, but this is really good because that allows Himeko to possibly be used on DOT teams, which is damage over time. So she could possibly even pair with Kafka in reality. Like Kafka, Sampo, or as I like to call him, Shampoo. So Kafka, Shampoo, Himeko, and maybe like a debuff or like Mother, a healer, whatever it may be. I feel like Himeko could definitely play a role in fights like those. And overall, I've seen that her damage has increased from CBT to release. So I would personally leave Himeko in A. I think she's a great AoE damage dealer, especially for starting off. And I feel like she has really good potential as a result. Now let's go over my beloved Seele, however you guys want to pronounce it. We love her. That's the point. I would personally put her in S. The reason why she's an S is, if I'm being honest, she's just incredibly powerful. Resurgence is very unique and allows her to attack multiple times in a turn. If you pair her with someone like Bronya, even better. She's even better now, because now she gets to go even more. I've been playing with this combo quite a lot on my own personal account, and it's really strong and I really love it. And I feel like Resurgence overall makes her such an incredible character. Her damage output is very good, and she's definitely one of our highest damage dealers as of right now. So I would definitely put her up here in the S. She's really good. The only reason I wouldn't put her up here is because she needs a team to revolve around her. Similarly to a lot of characters in game that are damage dealers or have a certain niche or unique thing to them. They need somebody that can support them. So if Seele here does not have somebody who can really support her, she can kind of fall off in the case of not necessarily damage, but her sustainability is really poor at that point due to the fact that she's mainly offensive and not defensive. So you would definitely want a healer or a shielder on the team, which is why I can't put her up here, since I feel like Bailu can be slapped on any team. Bronya could be slapped on practically any team as well. Seele needs a team revolved around her, similarly as well to other characters that are in this tier list. But from that, I would just say she's definitely up here, and I definitely think she's great as well. Now, let's go over Welt. Welt, I would personally put either in like an A- sort of thing or a B. I don't know if I'd go as far to put B. I just personally think, though, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like all these other characters personally provide more than him. He is an amazing debuffer, though. He's able to debuff enemies very, very well. He can reduce their speeds. He's really good, honestly, and he can definitely be used in multiple game modes. I don't think he's really that great early game. I feel like he's better end game, but I feel like there's other characters that can possibly do things a bit better for a team comp aspect. Like, I don't personally think, like, let's say you have Seele, for example, because I know she's our first limited character. A good amount of people are going to be pulling for her. In Seele's case, I don't personally think you would want to pair her with, like, hypothetically, if you had Bronya and Welt. It just seems very unnecessary to do all three of them, if I'm being honest with you. Of course, it may be able to work, but I just think it's kind of unnecessary, and the slot could possibly be used better for someone maybe like Pela, who can just reduce defenses instead. Welt definitely has his usage for reducing speed of enemies, and he is really good for that. Imprisonment is also really good as well. But I personally feel like the other characters just offer a bit more than he does. Of course, though, if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. I'm all for, you know, just let me know, like, basically what you guys think. If you guys think something else, let me know. I just want to know that type of stuff, since this is all for fun, of course. Yanqing is honestly either maybe like kind of in the Welt position. He's really, really strong, but my only problem is he's a bit more conditional, in my opinion, than a character like Himeko, Clara, or Seele. The reason why I say this is because Yanqing needs to have his empathetic sword link active for him to basically have that more crit rate, crit damage, attack, whatever it may be. He's able to do more of that from that being active. The way he gets that is using his skill on an enemy, but he has to not be hit by another enemy in order to keep the sword link. The reason why that is because he'll lose the sword link and then all those buffs will go away. He is still, though, a very strong character. He can also freeze enemies. He's still really good. So that's why I kind of feel bad if I were to put both of these two in B tier, because I kind of feel like they're in between. I do think they're like maybe a little bit below the A's I currently have, but I still think these two are really beneficial as well. Like, I think honestly all the characters we have now, all the 5 stars are really good. They all have something they can do, and they're all great options. If you get any of them, honestly, it would be great. But for the sake of it, I'll just put them here. I don't know. Like, I kind of want to move him, kind of don't. I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll just keep it at this, though, because I wish I could put but I can't. But I'm just going to leave it as is. But yeah, so this is, I guess, my final tier list. Once again, these two are like the in-between. Clara, Gepard, Himeko, A+ range. Seele right here, S for sure. Bailu, Bronya, probably, like, I would say the best supports in the game right now. Really, really good. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little tier list here. If you guys disagree, though, of course, let me know what you guys disagree with, because once again, this is all for fun. It's not to say that any of these characters are bad. I don't think any of them are bad. I think they're all really good, honestly, especially for what they can do for your team comps. And I don't think I'd really be upset by getting any of them. And also, if you guys want to share your own tier list, like using the site or whatever you want to do, join my Discord as well, so then we can like share our tier list and share our opinions. Because honestly, this video is just, once again, it's meant for fun. It's meant to have a good time, just to get my thoughts out about what I personally think about the characters, what you guys think about the characters, and so on. I hope all of you have a nice one, though. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more Starl content. I do have a lot of guides on my channel for the basics, the beginner stuff, and so on. Character guides as well. And I hope, once again, all of you have a nice one. Peace.